Hi everyone, welcome back to ALECtv. My name is Carly Good. I am the manager of the task force on energy, environment, and agriculture here at ALEC. Joining me is former Governor of Texas, former Secretary of Energy, Rick Perry. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be here, Carly. Thank you.
As a native Texan myself, I've been looking forward to talking with you. Just to kind of kick things off, can you give us a little insight into what you see as kind of your biggest accomplishments during your time as governor in Texas, and then maybe weigh in on the kind of energy market in Texas being a very unique situation?
I was a state house member and then the agriculture commissioner, lieutenant governor for one session, and then for 14 years the governor. So I had this kind of interesting trajectory and good training, if you will, for me. I learned the legislative process. I was a statewide elected official. I was the the presiding officer in the Senate. Then I got to be governor, which was really good training for me to, when I got there, to actually know how the place worked and the process, and it built a number of friends, both Democrats and Republicans, in the House and the Senate. So as I got there, Texas was just coming out of the dot-com bust, and so we had some opportunities to put the state on a trajectory. I tell people there are four things that you need to do as an executive, as the governor of a state, and it's tax policy. Keep taxes as low as you can and still have the revenues to be able to do the programs that the people want. And then the regulatory side of things, have a regulatory climate that's fair and predictable. Predictability in regulations is so important. The third thing that we did was don't allow for oversuing. So have a legal system that's fair and doesn't allow for oversuing. And I can't express that too much. And we did it with the most sweeping tort reform in the nation in 2003. And then the fourth thing is about having a skilled workforce. People are not going to relocate to your state if you're not going to have the skilled workforce. Mm-hmm. What skilled workforce says to me, and I think to most people, is accountable public schools. So when you think about those four things, taxes, regulation, legal system, and skilled workforce, those are the foundations for an economy that can grow. People will come to your state, they will invest in your state. So we put education reforms into place. We did the tort reform, and I will suggest to you those are two things that really put Texas on a trajectory.
Awesome. So transitioning kind of to your time as Secretary of Energy, tell us kind of how that played out, what your biggest accomplishments there were, and then if you could just kind of weigh in on your thoughts, kind of the current state of play in the space, a lot going on there.
Yeah. When President-elect Trump asked me to come be his energy secretary, it was a relatively short conversation. I went to see him at Trump Tower. This was, I think, late November of 2016. And he said, "Look, Perry, here's what I want you to do." He said, "I want you to do for America what you did for Texas." And I was kind of like, "Yes, sir." And what that translated to me is, he said, "I want you to go sell American energy around the world." Uh-huh. And just like we recruited businesses to the state of Texas, he wanted us to go sell this abundant product, particularly liquefied natural gas, which we did. And America became energy independent during that period of time. The first time in, I think, almost 60 years that America was energy independent. And what a powerful moment that was, and should still be, with the exception of this administration's policies are heading us back in the other direction. They're letting the Russians finish the Nord Stream pipeline, which will be devastating to Europe. America was bringing them what we refer to as freedom molecules, because the Russians will turn your gas off. We saw them do it in Ukraine. We've seen them do it to other places in Europe. So Donald Trump understood that to truly be free, you had to have energy independence. Mm-hmm. And we were helping many of our allies in Europe reach that point. We were being able to do the same thing with India, and today America is now handcuffed when it comes to our energy resources and what it's doing to our country. On the one hand, He's opening up a pipeline of Russian gas into Europe, and he's shutting down energy from Canada through the XL pipeline. It just, I'm sorry, but it's kind of crazy to think that America has this resource, clean burning fuel, giving freedom to a lot of Americans, creating massive amounts of job, and this administration is stopping it. And you know, my hope is that this is a one-term blip, and America can get back to economically and powerfully being the energy producer for the world.
Yeah. Yeah, so our audience is mostly state legislators, as you're aware. As a former, you know, in the energy space, or just broadly, as a former legislator yourself in the state of Texas, can you give just kind of a word of advice, words of wisdom, kind of what do you think legislators should be focusing on right now in the states?
Yeah, a couple of good books for legislators to pick up. Making America Work by Tan Parker, who is a state House member from Texas.
Yes.
It's got the foreword in there by Ronald Reagan and I think Nikki Haley, and it's a great book about how to make America work, and it's about federalism. And so if I had one piece of advice to a legislator, whether they've been around for a long time or just got elected, really tune into the 10th Amendment. It's there for a purpose. Federalism is really important. Washington, D.C. will not cure your problems. You will cure your problems. Make sure that you understand, you respect, and you implement the 10th Amendment every place, every opportunity you can.
Great. Sounds good. That sounds like a great place to wrap up. I appreciate your
You're welcome.
time.
Thank you, Carla.
This has been great. Thank you
ma'am.
so much.
You're welcome.